Welcome to Blind Abilities. I'm Jeff Thompson. Today we're going to be talking to Thinkerbell Labs, and Simon Bonenfant, who was down at the NFB convention this summer, got a chance to interview Thinkerbell Labs CPO, Shivan Agarwal. And I hope I got his last name right, but I do know the name of the device. It's the Poly, and this through partnership with American Printing House and Thinkerbell Labs. It's a new Braille device that makes learning Braille fun. Poly is an electronic Wi-Fi enabled device that will assist users in learning and reinforcing Braille concepts. To me, it's a device I wish I had when I was first learning Braille, and I'm glad it's going to be available real soon. And that's through APH, American Printing House, in partnership with Thinkerbell Labs. Thinkerbell. Kind of a cute name, huh? I like it. Well, without further ado, let's head to the exhibit hall with Simon Bonenfant and Shivan from Thinkerbell Labs.
Hello everyone on Blind Abilities. This is Simon Bonenfant here, and today I'm talking to Shivan, who is the Chief Product Officer at Thinkerbell. So how you doing today, Shivan?
I'm doing awesome, Simon. Thank you so much for having me here.
Yeah, great to talk with you. Great to be with you. I met you yesterday at the exhibit hall here in New Orleans, and you were showing me some of your products. Why don't you start by talking about your company a little bit and give us the history of how you got founded and the work that you're doing.
So I'm from Thinkerbell, as Simon mentioned, and we actually just celebrated our 6th anniversary. Thinkerbell builds solutions for visually impaired, and our flagship product is actually called Annie. Annie is named after Anne Sullivan, who was Helen Keller's teacher, and we are now partnering with the American Printing House to launch Annie as Poly here. That's P-O-L-L-Y. And to give you a bit of history about the company, it actually started out as a college project like 8 years ago, and we just had, about an 8 times enlarged Braille cell, and it was really in a tiffin box, a plastic tiffin box, right? And it was just dots that would come up and go down, and it would sing the alphabet song, right? And we just really thought that it would be a college project and we'll be done with it, right? But when we took it to the teachers, they really loved it, and the students really loved engaging with it. And that's when we realized that Braille literacy is a really big problem, right? In India, it's 1%, and globally, it's around 5%. So when we realized that, we really wanted to work towards increasing that Braille literacy, and that's how Annie or Poly came about. Since then, we've launched the product in India like about 4 years ago, and there are more than 1,000 Annies out there in India being used every day by children.
Well, that's great. Okay, so now you're marketing this device as Poly.
Yep.
Okay, great. So why don't you give the listeners a bit of a physical description of the device and how it works, and then we could do a little demonstration of it.
Perfect. So what Poly is, it's a complete learning ecosystem actually. So let's start with the device, right? So it's a device that's about 10 inches by 10 inches and about an inch tall. And what you have on the device, on the top left, is a large Braille display, which is a jumbo Braille display, or 2 cells of that, and it's about 6 times enlarged of the standard Braille size. And what we're really emulating there is the wooden pegs or the marbles that teachers use with early learners, right? Because they're really starting to build the touch sensitivity. So you want to start out with the dot combinations on a larger form factor. So that's what the large Braille display is for, and it's really an input and output system. So when we start out with lessons, you do a lot of exercises on the large Braille display before you move on to the next part of the device, which is the standard Braille display. So we have 6 cells of a standard refreshable Braille display, and just like any other refreshable Braille display, we can use that to read Braille on a standard size. We really wanted to teach everything in a way that they would be able to use it outside in the real world, right? So that's the reading section. You have the jumbo Braille cells and you have the standard Braille cells. Now below that, right in the center of the device, you have a Perkins style keyboard. So you've got the 6 keys, and then you've got a new line key, and you've got a backspace key, right? So that's the typing section of it. And the most interesting part about the device is right below the keyboard, which is the world's first digital Braille slate. So Poly can also teach you how to write using a Braille slate right there on the device itself with a standard stylus, right? So that covers the writing section of it. So Poly teaches you reading, typing, and writing. That is all 3 skills of Braille. And below that, you've got just 3 keys for navigation. We really wanted to keep it simple and not have too many keys that are not really Braille related. And when you switch the device on, it speaks to you. So it'll be like, hey Simon, let's start learning Braille, right?
Yeah.
And it'll go all the way from what is Braille, the 6 dots of the Braille, how to type something, how to write something, and the entire English alphabet, do words. And then it also teaches you contracted Braille. And we've got a lot of explore modes, and the entire content on the device, really, it's about 1,000 hours of learning curriculum on Poly, and it is all gamified. It's stories, it's poems, it's songs. So children stay really engaged with the device. Now that's the device part of it. It also comes with a monitoring tool for teachers, parents, and administrators, which is called Helios. That is Helios. And it's really a website where teachers can go and understand where the student is in their Braille learning journey. And they can monitor what lessons they've learned, how well they've done those lessons, along with tracking their speed and accuracy across all 3 Braille literacy skills, that is reading, writing, and typing. So in the past, we've seen teachers use that to see that, students would get quicker, but their accuracy would drop, right? And because they're able to monitor this information, they can go and have a conversation with the child. They'll be like, it's okay, you don't have to go that quickly, just get it right, right?
Yep.
And it also, we want to give the power back to the teachers as well, so you can set homework. So if Simon's been doing great, but the letter B, he always gets it wrong. Or let's say he always confuses E and I. Then I as a teacher can go, okay, Simon, we need to have some homework for you. I'm going to set just lessons for E and I on this. And the next time you switch it on, it's going to be like, hey, Simon, we have some homework for you, right? So Polly will do homework as well, and you can customize lessons on it. So if the two of us have gone to the NFB convention, I can be like, let's learn the word convention. So you can go on Helios, you can type, I'm going to teach convention, what does the word mean, and also some context like, hey, do you remember, Simon, we went to the NFB convention and it was super fun, right? And you can switch on Poly, and then it's going to teach you the word that you wanted it to teach. So it's really customizable. You've got homework, you've got monitoring, it's got the whole thing. So that is Poly.
Yeah. Wow, that is terrific. And one of the things you mentioned when we started is just the importance of Braille literacy and getting that to more people. And I think this device really helps out with that for many reasons. But one that I was thinking about is, once people learn the layout of the device and they learn these lessons, they can really teach themselves. It seems like, you don't necessarily need a teacher, but if they have this device, they know it well, then they can keep going on their own and learning. And you mentioned that this is for kids in terms of marketing, but I'm sure this can even help people that are learning Braille later in life to advance those skills as well.
That is perfect. I mean, you're taking words out of my mouth at this point, Simon. Braille literacy, we really believe that that's the path to independence and really, employability. But that's true. We've had cases in the pandemic where the kids who had an Annie or a Polly with them were the only kids who were able to continue with their Braille learning because they didn't have access to the teachers, right? And that's really the way that we've built Poly. We don't want them to be stuck at any point or be dependent on a teacher, but we really think that this also is a companion to the teachers, right? So you go in, you use the Poly with the teacher, and then you take it home and then you can continue learning, right? Because as you mentioned, once they know the layout, they can learn, but literally the first lesson on this, Simon, is what is Poly, right? So it'll really orient the child all the way from how to use the device and what the different parts are. And as you mentioned, I mean, it can be used by adults as well, because anyone, it's really not age specific, because as long as they want to learn Braille, Poly is for them, right?
Yeah.
We'll also be working with the National Federation for the Blind and the American Printing House to make the voice a little more adult friendly, right?
Okay.
So there's going to be a version for adults as well.
Oh,
But
great.
you can use it as it is as well.
Great. Can you turn it on and do a little demonstration for us?
Oh, for sure. Because Poly does sound better than I do.
Introduction to Poly.
So what I'm doing right now is I'm using the navigation keys that are right below the Braille slate, and I'm using those to go through the menu, right? Let's just hear that again.
Introduction to Poly.
That's the first lesson that the students get, which is Introduction to Poly, what the different pieces are. So let's just do one of the games on this.
Whack-a-Braille. Game of dots.
Okay, that's Whack-a-Braille.
Whack-a-key.
Whack-a-key.
Game of keys.
So Whack-a-Braille is a game where, you would have the jumbo Braille cells pop up, and then it's basically whack-a-mole for Braille, right? You'll be like, hey Simon, let's press dot 1, and then you have to press it. And then the quicker you're pressing the dots down, the higher you're going to score. And as I mentioned, it's all gamified. So kids will repeat the lesson on their own, and the system is not going to really force them, but because they want to get a higher score than they got last time, they're going to keep playing the games again. And in the process of getting a higher score, what is happening? Their Braille is getting super, super quick.
Oh, yeah.
So
English Braille Grade 1.
that's all the lessons to do with grade 1.
English Braille Grade 2.
Everything to do with grade 2.
Vocabulary Builder.
Poly also has about 1,000 words of vocabulary inbuilt. So the kids can just go into that and just learn new words anytime.
Wow, that's great. Yeah.
Games.
We've come to Simon's favorite part. It's games.
Whack-a-Braille.
So let's just go to a game.
Letter Race.
Letter race. So this is one of the more advanced games that we do, and it's really built in a way to improve their reading speed and typing speeds, right? So I'll just press space and it'll tell you what the game is.
Let's play Letter Race. In this game, whenever you hear the sound, a new letter appears on the standard Braille display. If you type the letter, it is removed from the Braille display and you score 1 point. But new letters keep appearing quickly, and when the entire standard Braille display is filled with letters, your game is over. So the faster you read and type, the higher you score. Press spacebar to start the game. Press left to listen to the instructions again.
Simon, do you want to give it a shot?
All right.
Ready, steady, go!
So Simon's just reading the standard Braille cells and the jumbo Braille cells. Perfect. And what just happened is he's typed the letter that he read on the displays. And it's getting removed from the displays, so he's getting new letters. And the clicking sound that we are hearing is how quickly the game is going. Oh, Simon got it wrong once.
Whoops. Yeah, so as it's coming up with letters, like that was a D there. And
we can hear the clicking get a little
you can
quicker.
you can hear that it's going faster and faster.
Now it's really starting to get quick. And the poly is also vibrating because the display is starting to fill up.
Over.
Oh, okay.
You've scored 11 points. Congratulations! This is your new high score.
That's awesome.
That was fun, right? Press the left key if you want to try and get a higher score in the game. Otherwise, press the right key.
Okay.
Spacebar
and then right. Yeah. So that's how that works. And then let's see. What are these buttons here? That's part of the keyboard? Or?
Yes. So what Simon you're feeling is below key 3 is backspace, and the round key, and then below key 6 is your new line.
Oh, okay. So if you're typing multiple lines, you can do that.
Yeah.
Press spacebar to start the next lesson. Writing letter race.
So you can. So that's
or
the thing.
left to restart the previous lesson.
Yep. So it's really up to you. But how do you like the letter race?
Oh, I think it's really cool. Yeah, I like it. I like typing on the keyboard. I think it's very comfortable to type on, and the display. This would be, you mentioned the two displays, right? The standard, and then so this is standard here. So the top right is the standard.
Yep.
On the left is the bigger one.
Exactly.
Right. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, and I think that's great because, like you said, when people are learning this, they can use the bigger display, and then when they get to a certain level, they want to try the standard display, they can do that as well. So this is great. Yeah.
Yep. And to give you an idea of how these games were made, like how did we come about these games, is honestly we took a lot of literature that was out there in terms of how it was being taught traditionally, and then we just played around with it. We were like, okay, what can we do to really enhance it with a device that has never existed in the world, right? So we want to create something brand new, but we did take inspiration from what the teachers were telling us, what the literature was, what the pedagogy was that existed in personal teaching. And we brought games that, I'll be honest, didn't work when we started out.
Okay.
Right? But that was how Polly or Annie were made, is we would go out into the field, let the kids use it and tell us it is not nice, right? And then till they start having fun and improving their Braille, we would just keep changing the games. We would keep changing the lessons. So it was really, we want to gauge the engagement and how quickly was their Braille improving. So it's been field trials all the way through. I mean, to give you one example of just the immense learnings that we've had from the field, is when the device was the first version or the second version of the device came out, it was all white, right? And we were doing a field test, and the kids with some vision were finding it really hard to find the keys. And after like half an hour, we were like, okay, wait, he has some sight, and he said that his favorite color was green. I was like, okay, that makes sense. And we took a green sketch pen and we just sketched around the keys. We colored like a game console shape around the keys, so there was a contrast between the colors of the keys and the surface below it. And immediately that was like an aha moment. All the kids were able to find the keys super quickly, right? So it was really just, I mean, we started out with a sketch pen, but now all our Pollies and Annies have a really contrasted panel around the keys.
I like that, yeah, because it's more personalized.
Exactly.
For the person as to what they want.
Exactly.
Like and a certain color. Yeah.
It looks super fun, and the design principles were also like, it needs to look like something that their sighted friends also want to get, right? So it should really look cool. That was one of the top priorities. Yeah. It needs to look cool. It's for kids. It's got to look cute and cool. Yeah. Right?
That's great. Yeah, I like that you talked about the user feedback. That's great, because the feedback is very valuable from users and customers, because they're the ones that use it and want to use it. So that's great that you're really open to that
100%.
As a company.
Yep. Yeah. And nobody's more brutally honest than a 6-year-old, because they will throw your product out literally if they don't like it.
No filter, right?
No filter, and that's what we like.
Yeah. So I just finished that game. Now, how did you get back to the menu where you were showing me that? So how would I get back from
so
there?
Because we want to keep minimal keys, what you can do is you can press all the 3 keys together and you will reach the main menu. Yep.
All those
these here? Yep. Okay. All of these together.
Letter race.
Ah.
Exactly. So you're in the menu. You can press right.
Writing.
Ah, okay.
Balloon pop.
That's another game.
Explore. Phonics.
Yeah, so it also does phonics. So in this explore mode, we have a lot of explore modes because we want to let the child also unfettered just try things out on the device, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
There's no right, there's no wrong, just do something, right? Yeah. So in this one, whatever letter you type, if it is a letter, it will tell you what the letter is and it will make the phonic sound. Right, that's about it. And if it's not a letter, it's going to tell you, nope, that's not a letter.
Oh, okay. Right? So I would type combinations on the keyboard, and it would then tell me if that's a right letter that I've typed.
Yep.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so it's just an explore mode.
Yeah, and I think that would be very valuable if I was learning some letters in Braille and I wanted to try that out, and maybe I mistakenly typed something what I thought was the right letter and it wasn't, then it would tell me that. Yeah. So that's terrific.
Explore. Dots.
This is just, you have the jumbo Braille dots come up in this, and whatever you press is going to tell you what dot it is. That's it. So just some explore mode.
Explore. Keys.
Same thing with the keys. Whatever you press is going to tell you what key it is.
Explore. Writing.
So just whatever you write with the stylus, it's going to tell you what dots you wrote. Right?
Okay.
Yep.
So yeah, if I go in there, it'll...
Yep. I'll give you a stylus.
Yeah, cool.
Welcome to Explore. Writing. Press any dot on the Braille slate using your stylus, and I will tell you which dot you pressed. Go ahead. Have some fun.
Yep, so you can just go to the slate and just try writing maybe any dot in any cell, because probably you're just starting out, let's say. So the music you're hearing, it means that whatever you're reading on the Braille displays is what you're writing, right? We also
Whenever you think you are ready to submit the answer, press spacebar.
As you know, Simon, I didn't tell you that to submit you have to press spacebar.
Right.
But Poly's UX is built in a way where it'll always help you out, right?
Yep.
So you can go ahead and press space. It'll just tell you what dot you press.
Dot 2 in cell 3.
Right?
Okay, so that's telling me that I pressed it in cell 3 of this area.
Exactly.
This slate area.
Exactly.
Oh, wow. That's great.
So you can just go slightly to the right.
Okay.
And then you can hear a slight click as well, and you feel a haptic feedback when you
to let me know that it worked.
Yep,
that
exactly.
Whenever you think you are ready to submit, dot 2 in cell 2.
Oh, okay. Once I do this, if I know I want to get the answer, I just know I press space. I don't need to wait for it to tell me that. I can do that.
Dot 6 in cell 6.
So
that's terrific.
Exactly. Do you want to try maybe learning a letter on this?
Yeah.
Okay. So let's just go to the main menu. I'll take the stylus.
Okay.
So you can go to the main menu by pressing all the 3 keys.
Demo.
Okay. You can press space. That's just a few lessons that I put for the demo.
Whack-a-braille. Game of dots.
So can you press right?
Whack-a-key.
Once more.
Alphabetic word signs. Song.
That's a song that we have. So do you want to give it a shot?
Yeah.
Sure.
Before we start learning the alphabetic word signs, let's listen to a fun alphabetic word signs song by our friend Jack Hartman.
So we partnered with Jack Hartman, who's on YouTube, and he does this great music.
Wow, that's great.
Very well. Start with ABCs. Concentrate and do your best. Come on and sing along. Follow me, have fun and feel the beat. Sing the Braille alphabet song. B, but.
And Simon, can you go ahead and feel the displays as well?
Okay.
So on the
yeah, I see that on the display.
And on the jumbo cell, you'll have the. So that's the thing. We've integrated it with the hardware on this.
So what I'll describe, folks, is as they're talking about another letter, that's coming up on the display. So whatever they're talking about here comes up there. Yeah.
And so we have a lot of music on this, and I'll just reduce the volume a little. We've also gone back to classrooms where all the kids are like just while eating their lunch would start singing the songs on the Annie or on the Polly.
Yeah.
They're like, what are they singing? And we're like, oh wow, they're singing the song that is on the Annie. We're like, wow. Because, I mean, songs are the best way to like remember things, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Wow, I like how it's reinforced on the display too. That way you're seeing it as they're talking about it. You can really follow along with that as it's going.
Exactly.
And it goes at a good pace, because if you're listening to it and paying attention, you can really get to it. So.
Yep. So let's try doing a lesson which has which is teaching a letter.
Okay.
So do you want to go outside?
Back out of this?
Yep. All 3.
Welcome to the main menu.
So do I go right, or do you want me to go?
You can press space.
Oh, space. Okay.
Whack-a-braille.
So right like 4 times.
Whack-a-key.
Once again.
Whack-a-key.
Okay, 1 second.
Alphabetic word signs. Song.
That is what we just heard.
First. Second. Proficiency test for Part 1.
Yep.
Oh.
B to G. Alphabetic word word sign.
So, I mean, this is a demo section, so I just have a bunch of different lessons on this. So, as you heard, it's a proficiency test. So, what we've done is really after every set of letters, we would put in a test for them, an assessment, to understand whether they've actually understood what they've learned. Right? So, I mean, Poly has that assessment. It's not really us taking the assessment. So, on the assessment, it's going to be a lot of reading assessments, typing, writing assessments, using, the standard Braille display. She would maybe not even put anything on the display, and she'd just be like, okay, type, the alphabetic word sign for and for me. And it's going to be like about 10 letters for each skill that they're testing. And if they don't get, above a 50%, then the Poly is won't let you go ahead. It'll be like, okay, go back to these lessons, do them well, come back, and then we'll go ahead.
Right, so after you learn a lesson, then you can do the test, and I would assume that would come up on the monitoring system that you had talked about, right?
Perfect, yeah, and that's what you would go on Helios and be like, okay, Simon's done pretty well.
Right, so if a teacher was using this to teach their curriculum, then they could assign a test for that day, and that would come up on there, and it would grade it for them, right? With
Perfect, exactly.
That software, and
exactly.
Wow, that is really great.
Yep.
So,
and it really allows them to, teach remotely as well. Your accuracy is not looking too good. I'll be honest with you. If I check Helios, I'm going to put this as homework.
Okay.
Right? And all the lessons are built like this, right? They're all games, but then all educational games.
That's great.
Yep.
Well, thank you very much for talking with me and demonstrating this product. I'm really, really happy about this, and I really enjoyed my time doing demos, and I can say that it's very comprehensive user experience, as we touched on and as we talked about, and I was able to get everything pretty much the first time I tried it. I mean, this was the first time I'd seen it yesterday, but this is the first time that I was really taking a deep dive into how it works, and you could see that I was getting it very quickly. And I'm glad that I was kind of getting a couple things wrong, that I was still learning it, because it gave me that context-sensitive help that was built in. So I really think you and your company did a great job in the work that you're doing there. And is this something that will be updated in the future? Do you have plans to keep working on this development and making it better, or what are your plans going forward as a company?
That's a great question. Because Poly is a smart device and it's connected to the Wi-Fi, we keep adding new lessons and new features to Poly like every day, and they come as updates, just like your phone updates. I won't say how your Windows system updates, because I don't like how that happens.
Okay. Yeah, I agree.
Yes.
I agree with you.
But this one does it asynchronously without blocking your learning. But it keeps updating you, and it'll tell you what you have new on the system. So, like the song that we heard, that was something that we released like 3 weeks ago, and it just went to all the Polys automatically. You switch it on and it's going to be there.
Okay, so somebody that had that device before that song came out, they would get an update notifying them.
Yep, and we're releasing new songs, new games, new features every month.
Wow, that is great. That's terrific. And what is the pricing model of this device?
That's a great one. So Poly will be sold by the American printing house, and the best thing is that it is under the federal quota system. So if you have access to federal funds, you can speak to your ex officio trustee and get access to a Poly very easily using the federal quota, and it'll be priced at $9.99, $1,000, but you get the $1 back to buy candy, I guess.
Okay. Yeah.
Right. So it's $1,000, and you can join the waitlist for Poly by going to aph.org/Poly, which is aph.org/POLLY. And you can join the waitlist, and we're going to send you updates. We won't spam you, I promise. We'll send you updates about what's happening and when it's coming out, and we are hoping to start shipping in August this year.
Okay, yeah, I think I'm going to definitely subscribe myself so that I get the up-to-date information, and we encourage all listeners to do so. If someone wanted to contact you or your company, do you have a website or any other contact information that you'd like to share?
Yep. So you can reach out to the company that makes Poly, which is Thinkerbell. You can just go to thinkerbelllabs.com. That's THINKERBELLLABS.com. So that's thinkerbelllabs.com, and then you can shoot us. There's a contact page there. You can shoot us a message there, or you can just send us an email on contactus@thinkerbelllabs.com, and we'll be sure to respond. It can be about anything. If you want to tell us how your day was, go for it. We want to know how your day was. You can send us an email for that.
Well, I know my day has been very good, especially getting to talk with you and getting to see your device. I think it's very promising, and I can see that you put a lot of good work into it, a lot of user feedback, and that's great, and I can't wait to see where this goes in the future. And best of luck to you and your endeavors.
Thank you so much, Simon. It was truly a pleasure talking to you and the listeners. This has been truly a great experience. Thank you so much.
When we share
what we see
through each other's eyes, we can then begin to bridge the gap between
the limited expectations and the realities of blind abilities.
The realities of blind
abilities.
For more podcasts with a blindness perspective, check us out on the web at www.blindabilities.com, on Twitter @blindabilities. Download our app from the App Store, Blindabilities, that's 2 words, or send us an email at info@blindabilities.com. Thanks for listening.